Namaste everyone, ChristianRLong, life enhancement consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Thursday afternoon here in Denver, Colorado. I'm coming back from Home Depot, which is right around the corner from my apartment, and I'm picking up some things. I can't really show you what those things are for several reasons, but as you guys probably know, I'm always updating and upgrading my office space. So every time I sit down and I do my work, whether it's healing work, whether it's administrative work, whether it's creative work, the appropriate energies, the appropriate energies are there. So it's very, very important to put yourself in a good frame of mind when you do important work. Anthony Robbins calls it getting into state. So what is state? State is your physiology, plus your focus, plus the language you use equals your state, right? So in your space, your workspace really contributes to your state. And that is actually taught in one of Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui's classes, Pranic Feng Shui, where your environment, your external environment can influence your internal environment. So I just had some things printed out over at Office Depot to remind me to keep the energies flowing and pouring down. Sangeeta, Atma Namaste, girl. Welcome as always. Good to have you on the stream. And I was thinking to myself, well, what topic can we talk about today? Because as you guys know, we talk about three main things here on these streams. We talk about energy healing, we talk about meditation, and we talk about practical spirituality and integrating those things around our day-to-day lives to improve the quality of our life. Nitin, Atma Namaste, good to see you as always. You've been kind of in and out the past couple weeks, but always good to have you on. So what occurred to me last night was the topic of righteousness. Now, what is righteousness? The way I look at righteousness is that one believes they are better than another person in some way, shape, or form. And then they want to preach that to everyone of what they need to do, what they should be doing, what they could be doing, what they're not doing. And I remember many years ago, I think I was maybe 3 or 4 years into my spiritual practice at that point, when my wife at the time, she said to me, she goes, "You're one of the most self-righteous people I've ever met." And I was like, what is she talking about? I'm not self-righteous. Getting immediately defensive about it is usually a pretty good indicator that there's something to work on. Jose, what's going on? Good to have you on, man. That's a big clue, by the way. When anybody gives you feedback and you immediately become defensive about it, that's a really good indicator that that's something you need to work on. So if somebody's like, you know what? It sounds like you might have anger issues, and you immediately fly off the handle and start getting aggressive and angry with the other person, you might want to look at that. Or if somebody says, you know, you've been doing a lot of studying lately and you're acquiring a lot of knowledge and you're kind of coming across as a know-it-all, and then the person says, what do you mean? I'm not a know-it-all. I mean, I read this book and that book and this book and that book, and I attended this seminar and that retreat and this workshop, and it's like I'm totally entitled to know everything that I know because of all the studying that I've done. Again, another indicator. Zach, what's up, stud? Atma Namaste, my entrepreneurial friend and cohort. So the takeaway from that is, whenever someone gives you feedback in some area of your life and you get immediately defensive about it, look at it, examine that, and go, is this person stating something that's true? Thea, Atma Namaste. Or is the person inaccurate? I use the example with clients of mine. I got my hands kind of full, not entirely full, but kind of full. And I use this example with my clients that get defensive about something, you know, like whatever, anger issues, pride issues, worthiness issues, whatever the case may be. And I asked the question, well, I said, if someone called you a tree, would you get defensive about that? And they're like, absolutely not. Why would I get defensive about that? And I said, that's a very good question. Why would you not get defensive about someone calling you a tree? And the immediate answer is, because I'm not a tree. There's no aspect of me that's a tree. Exactly. So if somebody tells you something and you get worked up about it, then you might need to look at it and go, maybe I do have anger issues. Maybe I do have pride issues. Maybe I do have unworthiness or low self-esteem issues. Or maybe I do have fill in the blank, right? So when my wife at the time said to me, you're self-righteous, I got immediately defensive and I got deeply hurt from that statement. Because I'm like, I'm a spiritual practitioner. I do, meditation for hours a day, and I try to be a kind person and helpful. And she's saying I'm self-righteous. She's got a lot of gall to say that to me. I didn't use the word gall. I used a different word at that time in my development. And it was a sore spot for a long time because it was true. It was true. Now, what's the difference between self-righteousness and righteous indignation? Well, the energy of righteous indignation is in the solar plexus chakra. So when you see an injustice happening to yourself or to someone else and you want to step up and alleviate that injustice or balance or neutralize that injustice, that's righteous indignation. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? People who are humanitarians, people who have nonprofits, people who are crusaders, people who are fighting a cause that they believe in, regardless of whether the cause is noble or not, they see an injustice and the solar plexus kicks into gear and says, this is ridiculous, I can't stand for this anymore, I'm going to make it happen. One example that comes to mind when I think of righteous indignation is one of my girlfriends many, many years ago was Filipino. She is still Filipino. She hasn't changed. She's still Filipino. And she was telling me of a time that she was in a grocery store and there was this guy, a worker, I believe it was a worker, I'm pretty sure it was a worker, at the grocery store who was belittling and putting down a native-born Filipino in like the cereal aisle. So she was like fresh off the boat, right from the Philippines into the United States, and this guy was making fun of her. Now, my girlfriend, a relatively passive person, a relatively agreeable person, a relatively sweet and kind person, but because she's Filipino and she knows what injustices her culture has gone through in her life experience in the United States and abroad, and she sees this grocery clerk belittling and putting down, I think it was dealing with the language of this Filipino woman, her solar plexus went into gear immediately and she got all up in this guy's face, right in his face, and was calling him out, and she was being, aggressive about it. But don't worry. Wouldn't it be amazing to be like Lord Shiva and have like lots and lots of hands? I mean, think about if you had like 8 hands, what could you do? All right, guys, get your mind out of the gutters. This is a wholesome live stream that we do daily. So, all right, hold on. Steven says something here. I get defensive about anything related to my loss of cognitive and other brain functions since tree branch, mostly when still trying stuff I haven't to go back the past 5 years, hit by a tree. Wow. So you were hit by a tree, it affected your brain, and so that's a sensitive topic for you. Okay, which makes sense. But here's the thing. So that's righteousness, thinking you're better than another person. And then righteous indignation, where you see an injustice whether right or wrong, and you want to step up and make that happen. So the legal system would basically be solar plexus and throat chakra mostly. Avani, Atma Namaste. Right? So does that make sense? But with righteousness, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point, and I still have other things to work on around this. But spiritual practitioners who are deeply dedicated to the path and deeply dedicated to the evolution of humanity are products of their product and are walking, talking embodiments of their practice. I remember one of the master pranic healers said many, many years ago that you want your arhatic yoga practice to be in the background of your life, meaning it's always operating. You're always living a virtuous life. You're always connecting to God. You're always purifying yourself, right? So you have it as the background of your life. But I notice people who are new to the path, that are excited about spirituality, that are excited about meditation, that they're excited about energy healing or some form of personal development, they want to do a little bit of it. Anna, Amma Namaste. They want to do a little bit of it, and then they want to force all of those practices that they just started. Whoa. Monica, Amma Namaste. I have no idea what just happened. Weird. Do I look like the Terminator? I'll be back. What time is it? So at 2 o'clock Mountain Time today, I have an interview. Jessica, Amma Namaste. An interview with a fellow yogini, fellow practitioner, Neo of the Matrix. Dun dun dun. And so I want to be ready for that talk. And don't worry, we'll be promoting it on Krista, Amma Namaste. We'll be promoting it on live stream. We'll be promoting it in the newsletter. We'll be promoting it everywhere. Everywhere. My hair looks pretty crazy right now. Now, you might be thinking, Christian, what are you doing? This isn't very professional. You're supposed to be serious. You're supposed to be holy. You're supposed to have your hair properly treated. What is going on? Look, never claim to be perfect, but always moving towards perfection. Yeah, there we go. Looking forward to putting up my new stuff. Woo! Sweating to the oldies over here. It's not even that hot in this place. So anyways, as we were covering self-righteousness and righteous indignation, whoa, something weird happened with my seat. I don't know what happened with it. It's all weird. Here we go. Everyone's like, he's turning too much. So with righteous indignation, it's seeing an injustice and taking care of that injustice to the best of your ability. And it could be in that moment. It could be over a long period of decades as like a freedom fighter in the Philippines. As long as you weren't on the toilet, it's all good. Ha! You would be surprised. Some of you may remember this. 3 years ago, I was doing a stream from the bathtub. And it was pretty, I don't want to say pretty revealing, but I had a different mindset back then for sure. Anyways, we did a live stream from the bathtub because I was trying to demonstrate the effectiveness of taking a salt and lavender bath to energetically cleanse your emotional and mental bodies, right? And it just got out of hand, but we had a lot of views. So the takeaway is be a product of the product. Be an example of the school, the system, the methodology, whatever it is that you practice, And then over time, people will get on board. But if you're doing it partly, but then you're preaching to everyone and their mother that they need to be doing it completely, that's where the righteous indignation comes into. So that was the clarity that I got when my ex-wife said that to me about me being self-righteous. Because at that time, I did think I was better than other people because I was the one who was meditating. I was the one reading spiritual books. I was the one attending spiritual courses and retreats, right? But guess what, guys? You can be highly developed and highly evolved and never have gone to a spiritual retreat, a meditation class, or read any kinds of books on spirituality because of previous work one did in other incarnations. So do not judge a book by its cover. Do not judge a book by its cover. And it took me a long time to figure that out. But with enough suffering and enough pain, we can all learn to become better people. So that's it, guys. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with us. If, Elizabeth, Atma Namaste, fellow pranic healer, if you are in need of healing, go to ChristianRLong.com. It's my website, ChristianRLong.com / you got to put the / in there, services. /services. We do one-on-one healings, and then we do packages of healing sessions around specific things. You're like, you know what? I want a package of healing sessions for depression or weight loss or running a successful business or increasing my prosperity or improving the quality of my relationships with my significant other or my family, right? There's very specific protocols that we have been following that Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui developed many, many years ago. That can help you, that can assist you, that can move you forward. So go to ChristianRLong.com /services. If you have any other questions, direct message me. I'll do my best to get back to you within 24 hours. And I'm glad that you guys were able to connect, able to walk with me outside a little bit. I'm going to get ready for this interview and then some healings later this afternoon. And I will talk to you shortly. So this is Christian R. Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma Namaste. Bye-bye.